It's a great pleasure to be here and deliver the closing remarks on this important topic, how to display museum collections. I'm summarizing something that covers the past, the present and future of museum collections. And display is no easy task, particularly with all the input we received today and this super interesting Q&A session at the end, but I will try to make it short. So, societies are changing and museums need to change as well in how they collect, present, and engage with the public. It's about representing a diverse society, but also bringing people into the museum and making them meaningful. After all, public museums belong to the people and are a key part of our democracy. As Karen Ake said yesterday, they house our cultural archive. All 5 museum directors we've heard speaking today oversee collections from 5 different countries: Germany, Poland, Spain, Sweden, and the Emirates, each with their own unique background, scale, and funding models. Their collection also emerged under different political circumstances and colonial histories. Yet they all share one goal. They're dedicated to expanding access to their museums and have already achieved notable progress in closing gaps within their collections, contributing to a richer and more inclusive narrative of art history. For example, for me, and I guess for everybody else in this room, it seemed to be unbelievable that till Susanne Gensheimer took over in 2017, there were only 2 women artists represented in the K20 collection. So it also remains essential to recognize that the process of integrating greater diversity into collection is a long-term endeavor. And I would like to quote also Manuel Segade here. It's not because of the interest of the museum that the collection needs to diversify, but because of the nature of contemporary art itself. When it comes to collection display, the focus of this symposium, we can see that breaking away from the linear, one-sided narrative is one of the main objectives. Based on my understanding from this second symposium are 2 pivotal concepts at the heart of the symposium. It's contextualization and motion. In regard to contextualization, many examples have been mentioned in the symposium and during our preparations. For example, for the new collection presentation at the Reina Sofia, Manuel Segade intends to shift away from chronological order. Instead, the focus will be on adding a richer context to deepen visitors' understanding. So contextualization is a cornerstone, ensuring that each collection not only presents individual works, but also situates them within a broader conversation. The same objective applies to K20, where the collection is displayed and structured in 25 chapters, each a story arranged in a loosely chronological order, which offers the visitor to make connections across time. At Moderne Museet, Gitte Osku and her team transition from traditional linear display to a chapter-based narrative structure, a shift that has been highly appreciated by the audience. Gitte also noted that the approach fosters a greater sense of connection and curiosity among visitors. Importantly, she emphasized that audiences are capable of appreciating complexity without the need for over-explanation. Also at the Guggenheim Abu Dhabi, there's no strict linearity. Instead, storytelling is key. Communication comes through stories and poetry, which also indicates a certain fluidity. At the MoMA in Warsaw, titled their collection The Impermanent, 4 takes on the collection, structuring the collection in so-called notions. These approaches enable us to revisit works from the collection and explore what they can teach us today. As Susanne Gensheimer noted, the past should be re-examined through a contemporary lens. And the other crucial keyword for me was motion. At the beginning of the symposium, Stephanie Herreus highlighted several compelling stories and examples. Historically, museum collection displays were regarded as stable and like an unchanging feature of institutional heritage. However, significant transformations have occurred since the 1990s, exemplified by institutions such as the Whitney Museum and Tate. For instance, museums have increasingly integrated collection displays with contemporary exhibitions. The emphasis has moved from solely showcasing historical narratives towards presenting both current and future-oriented dialogues. To create motion, it's also common practice to invite artists to create collection displays. Stephanie Harris again highlighted initiatives such as the Artist's Eye at the National Gallery in London and the Artist's Choice at MoMA in New York. Also, Vivian Tromma from K20 mentioned that for the collection Rehang, she gained valuable insights by working closely with the artists and engaging with texts by Grada Kilomba and Ethel Adnan, to just name a few. So motion can even be created through architecture, as Stephanie Rosenthal exemplified in her presentation by showing how Frank Gehry's architecture lets visitors move through the galleries. While my primary task is to distill the key insights of this symposium, I also believe it would be valuable to envision a third symposium dedicated to the critical examination and display of existing works within the collection. For instance, in one of Susanne Gensheimer's interviews, I read that one gallery at K20 is dedicated to expressionist artworks created during the German colonial period. In this context, the artworks themselves are examined in historical and ideological frameworks in which they were produced. This approach helps foreground the complex relationship between modernism and colonialism, encouraging a more nuanced understanding and fostering a dialogue that is vital. Similarly, I read that the Museum of Modern Art in Warsaw explores themes of decolonization. Although Poland did not possess colonies in the 19th century, the Soviet Union did, prompting the museum to critically examine issues of class and representation within this historical context. And there are many more topics, I believe, that need to be discussed. Like at the end, we spoke about the freedom of speech, funding. I think we also could speak more about sustainability, because museums are really a cornerstone of our democracy. So this is just a suggestion for an ongoing series of this symposium. But getting back to the second symposium, it has provided us with invaluable insights into how institutions are transforming their collections and display strategies to become more inclusive and dynamic. The ongoing efforts to break away from the linear narratives demonstrate a profound commitment to capture the complexities of our society. And I really believe that all 5 institutions prioritize these values and seek meaningful change. Equally important is the understanding that these changes require time and a willingness to challenge established paradigms. So participating in the symposium was a real pleasure to me. Thank you so much. It was very inspiring.